is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Welcome aboard, boys and girls. Yes, sir, it is time to rock. It is time to roll on your favorite podcast show.
Strongest opening this week there, sir.
Ah, yes. Well, thank you very much. We try. And we're out here at Craig's Inns, Acura of Pembroke Pines. Come on out to 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. We'll be out here for a couple of hours, having some fun. At 4 o'clock, Hal Habib is going to join us from the Palm Beach Post to talk a little Miami Dolphins. At 4:30, we'll talk to Franco Panizo. We'll get a little info on Inter, all kinds of stuff that we got going on today on the show. So appreciate all of you out there for tuning in as always. Thank you. Out there, we.
I noticed you sporting the jacket, man. Are you actually cold, sir?
I am.
Are you getting sick?
No, not at all.
Okay, I'm just.
Not at all. I only like cold when I'm sleeping.
I'm just making sure there, buddy.
Yeah, I'm only. I'm cold because it's kind of cool. So I figured if I have to sit here.
68 degrees, man.
Well, yeah, but I'm a South Florida wimp, so it's just the way it is. It's one of those deals where you just don't want to freeze.
Okay.
Don't want to feel. Show. I feel like being comfortable. I make sure I don't want to. I don't want to be what's it called, shivering or cold or uncomfortable in any way, shape, or form. So it's all good.
You're an equator boy, no doubt, man. I mean,
yes.
if you think this is really cold.
No, it's not really cold. I could probably hang out without the shirt, without the jacket, but I don't know. It might get a little colder as the day wears on. So I figured.
It's a pretty heavy jacket going on there, bro.
Yeah. Yep. It's my Dickies jacket. That's what it is. It's my Dickies jacket.
You got your work overalls to go with that jacket there, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Your steel-toed boots and everything?
I got that. I got it. Ian from Brooklyn is first. He says double dipping. Yes, sir. Thank you. GP Trap Hewitt is in. Sean Jones is in. Sage McKinley says, what's up, Big O? Let's go Dolphins. Sticking it to the Pats again. Fins up. That's going to happen. Okay? You can bet your ass Dolphins are going to win. Antonio Matos is in. Man of 1,005 holds. Says, afternoon, everybody. Excited for Sunday. Huge game. Let's see, what else do we have here? Rosendo says, good afternoon, Big O. And Mr. Preston, nothing better but to listen to the best radio duo in South Florida. And I thank the Lord to listen to you, gentlemen, to lift my spirits. Well, thank you, Rosendo.
Thank you, man.
That's a heavy responsibility that I know I can't carry. But I appreciate you. That's very nice of you to say that.
Well, if you can't carry it, I forget about it.
Yeah. GP Trap says, nice face shield. I have about 10 of these I use for work. Matches our colors. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I got a bunch of these mask ones that I of the American flag that I wear. It's probably my largest collection out of all the ones that I have more flags than anything else.
And the thing that's awesome about that mask, it goes with 70% of your concert shirts, right?
Yeah, that
being black.
Yeah, it goes with the hailstorm that I have on right now as it is. So yeah. So we're rocking out today. We got our Greta hat, our hailstorm shirt. I like it. I just noticed.
For the new rockers.
I just noticed I left my ID from work on my neck. It's like I never stop, man. It's It's crazy stuff. It really is. Lakeisha is in the house. Hello,
Lakeisha,
Lakeisha.
hello.
I've not seen
That's
Lakeisha.
twice this. No, she was in earlier this week, wasn't she?
She was. Yeah,
so
she
that's
was.
twice in 1 week.
Yeah,
We're feeling
twice.
very, very
Lucky,
honored
yes.
here.
Yes. John Rouse is in. He says, Mandalorian season finale today. I hear like Skywalker shows up. Really? Wow. Okay. So, what I don't understand, but is the Mandalorian, you know what I haven't realized? But is the Mandalorian like after all the chapters or is it in between? Now, are we talking about Skywalker's spirit showing up? You know, like Yoda's does? Or
Good
is he
point.
physically, because in this time, he's still alive? See, that's the one thing, I've never asked.
How does it correlate to where they are in relation to the Star Wars 9?
Where is the timeline of the Mandalorian? Is the Mandalorian before the first episode? Is it between the 7th and 8th episode? Is it after the 9th
Fett
episode?
or Boba Fett alive, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. No, because it's not, because I remember, wasn't Yoda like 900 years old or something? So this can't be 900 years where the baby is actually Yoda, but small. I don't think that is either. So
Yeah, but is that actually Yoda?
yeah, I don't even know. I don't know what the timeline is for this. I've never actually thought about that. So I don't know if it's, that's what I'm asking. Spirit or is it really him? I don't know. We'll see. John says, yes, after all, Luke Skywalker, he's alive. Okay, so then this is before certain episodes. I don't know when.
Okay, I was just going to say, how old is Luke?
Yeah.
Is this pre him hooking up with Obi-Wan and becoming, a Jedi? Or
right.
Is he old and he's already done with Rey?
So it's not Mark Hamill. It's somebody playing Luke as Mark Hamill. Okay?
That's got
to be.
Because we would have heard Mark Hamill's going to make an appearance, right?
Right.
And it would have blown out.
Yes.
Everybody would have got Disney Plus.
Yeah. So then this must be Luke as a child or something. Tim says, what's good, fellas?
Okay, so he's shooting his womp rats, right?
Huh?
He's shooting his womp rats, in other words?
Right.
Drinking blue milk.
Exactly. That's it. He says, loved what Ryan Clark and Bart Scott said about Tua Miami. Much praise. I don't know what he said, so I have no idea. I would have to hear it, but I'll take your word, Tim. I guess they had some good things to say. Brooklyn Rob says, no, it takes place between Return of the Jedi. Okay, so then, yeah. So then obviously Luke is alive. So
that's number 5, between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, or is it between Return of the Jedi number 6 going to number 7?
So it's got to be somebody playing Luke young, because they're not going to make Luke now look young. The makeup's not that good nowadays, unless they're using the Mission Impossible mask. Because that's the trick always in Mission Impossible, that they've got to have the fake mask doing somebody's role. That's just kind of the thing. So if they are going to make a mask like that, then I can get it. Then I understand. Let's see. Do you think Devontae Parker will play Sunday? Dolphins keep injuries quiet, and that's okay as long as we keep getting better. They don't need to give out information. And as for Parker, I think 100% chance he plays. Okay? Unless he has some kind of a setback, I don't think I don't think there's a chance he doesn't play. If you've noticed something about Parker, okay, he still gets injured. But if you've noticed, he has fought through the injuries more than he ever did in years past. That when he had an injury, he was out. He doesn't tend to miss a lot of time. He tends to find a way to get back on the field, and he's been practicing this week. The guy I'm amazed is Gesicki. Gesicki was catching passes today. And it looked like he wasn't going to play for weeks. I thought he was done for the year. The way, they're carrying his arm out, I'm like, oh, my God. I had a second-degree AC joint sprain, and I can tell you, bro, that thing lasted for months with me. Months. That was a pain in the ass. Now, I don't get the kind of treatment he does, but still, even if he had my injury, I don't think he's doing what he's doing right now. So if he's really catching passes, he might even end up playing this week, which, again, I never saw coming.
Unless he went under the needle.
No.
Because they were talking about that today with players, and Bart actually mentioned it and said, you know, sometimes, man, you just got to suck it up, take a shot, and get out there and get on the field for the team.
Yeah, but I don't think you do that with a shoulder and a tight end.
I know. No.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I don't think they do that. Not with a young tight end. If you're talking about an older guy down at the end of his career and, you know, whatever, hey, dude, you got nothing left. Let's go.
There's no pressure push because of where we're at in relation to the playoffs,
no,
the Ravens winning the other night.
This kid is working on a big contract down the line. So I don't think that they would put any kind of risk at, put his career
and we don't
at
want
risk.
that kid going anywhere. We want him to be in a Dolphins uniform.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. So I think Parker plays for sure, but I'm amazed if Gesicki actually takes the field. Brooklyn Rob is in. Jeffrey Vincent, the actor, is in. Okay, didn't know that we put names and positions or careers also on the line. Antonio Lucatero says buenos dias or buenas tardes. Everyone, Finns should win, but what side of the ball will be the difference, the offense or defense? Brooklyn Rob says between Return of the Jedi and Episode 7, it is Hamill. Wow. Okay, so then there's a lot of makeup. Let's see.
Well, there's a big space in the ages, remember, because Hamill's an older guy that's been gone for years. And Return of the Jedi, you know what I mean? He's probably like in his 30s, 40s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's still
you're
he's
talking
60 right now. I'm just saying how he looks now to make him look younger is going to be tough.
But you can make Mark Hamill look 50-something years old. You know what I'm saying? Because there is a space between 6 to 7. You understand?
He didn't age well.
Well, he's grown up in California, man. What do you expect?
He didn't age well.
He's had a good time, man. He's made some money, you know.
Man of 1,005 holds has a good point. He says, hey, they can make young Luke via CGI or hologram, which, you know what, you're probably right. They probably could do something like that. Marcos Valdez, sorry, but I still don't trust Tua to win important games this year. No, of course not. Yeah, no, he only drove against Kansas City for 2 straight touchdowns. And then Andy Reid said, no, I'm not giving him back. You don't trust him, but Andy Reid did. That's all right, dude. I don't need you to trust him, Marcos. I like that he put fear into Andy Reid. If that doesn't convince you, I don't know what will. Jeffrey Vincent, the actor, he's back. Dear Tua, please beat the Pats because a Dolphin win will win my beat. Plus, I get to see the Pats' playoff hopes die. Sincerely, a blind-ass fan. Sound the alarm, Big O. Now, Jeffrey, you're on target. I'm a blind-ass fan with you, bro. Dolphins are beating the Patriots.
Blind-ass fan alert.
There we go.
Look out, everyone. We've got a blind-ass fan coming through.
Dolphins are going to win, bro. They will win on Sunday. They will beat the Patriots. Let's see. I think Gesicki had a stinger. Maybe. The cards are on the table. The Raiders lost last night. It's time for the Dolphins to pull the trigger. Well, what does the Dolphins pull the trigger? Do you mean just like pull the trigger like they got to win? I'm not sure what that means because they can't make any trades. That's gone. You know? Not sure what that means. You got to clear that one up for me, Rosendo. Chargers win and Dolphins move up in the draft order. I love it. Well, and you know the Texans will lose again this week. So that'll be good and that'll improve the draft position for the Miami Dolphins. I mean, I love this season. I don't have to fight with some of you out there about losing in draft positions because you know that stuff makes me crazy. Okay? Those of you that have followed me for a long time, you know that I despise that. that you root against your team for draft position when that doesn't mean anything. If you know how to draft, you'll find a player like Van Ginkel in the 5th round, or Zach Thomas in the 5th round, or you'll find Preston Williams undrafted, or you'll find Nick Needham undrafted and free agent. Or you know what I'm saying? So if you know what the hell you're doing, a Myles Gaskin in the 6th round. And let me tell you something. Next year when you draft that stud running back, I want Myles Gaskin back. I want him to be the number 2 guy. And again, a 6th rounder for that, fine. If you know how to draft, if you know how to trade, if you know how to pick up players, if you can eye talent like Zach Seiler and take him off of somebody's practice squad and put him on your team, you never, ever root for your team to lose because you're worried about draft position. If you're worried about draft position, then that means you have a terrible football team and you have a terrible front office. If you have a real front office, they know how to make moves, like suckering the Patriots into taking Isaiah Ford for a 6th rounder, and then you end up getting him back, and you got a free 6th rounder. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. And then you turn Jakeem Grant, one of the better returners in the league. What was he, a 5th or 6th rounder? There you go. If you know how to draft, you may lose Minka, but you get the pick and you turn it into Raekwon Davis. You may lose a player like Laramie Tunsil, but if you know how to draft, then you go find Austin Jackson. You understand? So those are things that I am so glad this year I don't have to battle with a bunch of Dolphin fans that are worried about losing because they need a better draft position. And, man, that frustrates the crap out of me because I'm not for rooting against the Heat or the Dolphins or the Marlins or the Panthers or the Canes or Inter Miami or FIU or FAU. I don't do that, man. I just don't do that. It's not my style. You know what I mean? If you got a great front office, they'll figure out ways to do things. Shula used to win every year, and he picked at the back end of the round every year. Every year he was in the latter part of the 1st round because every year his team was making the playoffs pretty much. Once in a blue moon, an 8-8 or 6-10 season popped up, but that was like once every 8 or 10 years. But outside of that, he was in the playoffs, and he was constantly picking on the back end of the draft. You gotta that. I am so grateful that we have a season where we can watch the Texans lose and give us higher picks in the 1st and 2nd rounds, and we can watch the Dolphins win, and we're not worried about the draft position. I think it's amazing. I love it.
Does it make any sense? We're on the verge of making the playoffs. If you're worried about our draft position, our pick, come on.
No,
Come and join us on the winning side.
Well, this year we haven't gotten that. It's when you're like a mediocre team.
Well, where we were always in no man's land.
Yeah,
no man's
stuck
land.
in the middle.
You're not in the top 10, but you're not a playoff team, and you're just in the middle of the road sucking wind, basically.
Yep. Richard says, Big O, do you think the Dolphins 2020 was a great draft? 3 starters on the O-line. Well, 3 starters on the O-line, a starting quarterback. Raekwon Davis is starting now, right? Who else from this draft is starting and making an impact? Trying to remember. There's something else. Brandon Jones, the safety. That kid's all over the place.
Oh, the kid from Texas, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he's played remember all the linebackers went down. He played linebacker and got a sack in that game.
The kid's a badass. Like that kid.
Hasn't he caused a fumble too?
Yeah, no.
He's done a little bit of everything.
He's bald. He's bald. No, it's been an excellent draft. Excellent draft. And it's only going to get better because I think other players are also going to come out of these picks that we're going to end up seeing. I think Noah will be a good player too. Let's see what else. Gesicki's a soft guy. Nothing has to be broken for him to scream. I think it's nothing serious. Well, Henrik, I can tell, dude, you've never had any kind of shoulder pain because that is not fun. So I disagree with you. I saw the way he landed, and I could easily see a shoulder, being slammed and jammed and ligaments strained and whatever, and or an AC joint or something, and it's painful. So I
He's
disagree
never
with
had
you.
anything in the upper torso.
Yeah, no.
Because anything up top, man, in your chest,
It affects everything.
you can't breathe.
Yeah.
You can't stand up
Yeah.
to get air,
Yeah.
and you can't bend over because then it feels like all the weight is right there, the blood. I mean, man, you've never had anything
No,
happen to you.
you could tell Henrik Arthur's never had those kind of injuries. He has no idea what it's like to mess up a shoulder, dude. That hurts, man. Let's see what else to it. Big O, I'm ready to miss the playoffs this year with Tua and hope he'll be ready for next year. Well, there you go, bro. I get it, Marcos. You're a world of sunshine. Let's see.
What color is the sky in his world, man?
Yeah, it's red. It's bleeding. I'm not worried about draft position, Sage says. Damn right. Can you imagine if first Tua throws a deep ball and Isaiah Ford takes it to the house? That would be funny. That would be freaking hilarious. The actor says Tua is comfortable in his position. He's a veteran already, plus he's proved that he's tough. No more celebrating field goals. No more fist pumps for field goals. Amen to that. Rest in peace, Tony, but yeah, was not a fan of your style. No, the pick for oh no, you're right. It was Austin Jackson, not Raekwon. Raekwon was the second rounder, right? I think you're right. Right? Noah, Tua, and Austin. You're right. Austin was the pick for the Steelers. I think you're right, actually.
Speaking of Raekwon,
but there you go. So even better, they got a starting left tackle.
how about last night, Raekwon stuffing Balaj at the goal line? Did you
Yeah.
see?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Let's see what else. Brandon Jones, impact player. Yes, correct. Chris Greer is GM of the year, hands down. He should be. I mean, if people are objective, the guy's been awesome. And Rosendo saying, do you think Noah can be an impact player next season? I do. Just it'll take. Hey, Pat Surtain was lost his first year. It's normal for guys to not be, on point in their first year. Did you ever get to see? Oh, you know what? I did not see the 5-minute video from Brian. I will watch it tonight. Thank you for reminding me. Let me write that down.
Man, this is important, everybody. Because normally O would say, send it to me or text it to me.
No,
or
they already
tweet
sent it to
me.
me. They already sent
Okay.
it to me. It's
I'm
already.
just-
It's in my DM
just
and it's
saying.
in my timeline on my Twitter. They've been both of them were awesome.
All right.
Two people sent it to me.
You understand my point,
No,
though.
I get it.
Like,
but
for
I
O to be
forgot he
writing
has-
something down and
Because I
not
want-
saying, DM me or this. Or
It's Tua. I want to see it, man. It's,
for
it's
sure,
actually
bro.
and I love my man Brian Baldinger. If Brian wasn't tied to a deal, I would bring him on my show. But he's tied to a deal. That deal will end quickly because Intercom doesn't have any money. So eventually that will run out. And they probably paid him through the season. He's probably got a contract, and so they've got to live through it. But at the end of the season, he'll be done, and then I can bring Brian on again and do all of that. Let's see. Tremolio says, I got a minor pinched nerve in the shoulder, and I could barely squeeze anything with my hand, much less lift my arm. Pure pain. I know. But Tremolio, you've had one of those kind of injuries. I've had it. Bill's had it. You can tell that our boy, what was his name? That sent it in. You can tell that he had not had those kind of injuries because he wouldn't be saying that.
Bro, I broke my collarbone on the left twice and my humerus bone on my right. That upper man, you can't breathe.
There was nothing humorous about it.
No.
All right.
Not at all.
I can tell. Big O, do you think we have a better chance playing against Mariota versus Carr? Yeah, no, we're playing against Mariota. Carr's done. Gruden said yesterday that it was pretty serious. the groin injury. You could tell that
That was a flat tire, dude. It's like you got a flat tire. You're done.
Yeah,
That's it.
He's done for a few weeks. I don't know if he'll make it even back for this season. So that could be a real issue there, my man. So I think we're going to play against Mariota.
I was glad to see the guy from the Chargers saw what he was doing, because you see him. He doesn't even try to get like an extra yard or like straight across, like, please don't hit me,
Right.
please don't hit me. And you can see the guy, he's up like, okay, you're a lame duck.
Yeah. Drew Boo checking in, giving us a little love on the Super Chat. And he gives us a little fist pump. I like it. Very nice. Henrik is asking, Jason Stowbridge is a player to watch. Yes, that's another kid. But again, you got to the beauty of the Dolphins this year is that now you have a plethora. I mean, this is the most effed up part about all of this, okay, is that when they tore it all down last year, a lot of us were thinking, oh, my God, a rebuild. We've been rebuilding for 20 years. What are they going to take, another 4 or 5 years? I got to wait. And little did you know that in your second year, you're going to be challenging for the playoffs. The second year. The second year of a rebuild. You're playing meaningful games in December, going into January. Are you kidding me? And then the Dolphins, they couldn't find 3 offensive linemen on any line for the last 20 years. These guys got 6. And I know there's a bunch of young guys, and they're not road graders yet, but that's called an off season. It's called weight training. That's called getting used to the league, and they'll get stronger and better and faster and smarter and more in sync, and they'll be fine. The run game pass game's a little bit more, a little bit easier for those kind of guys at this point. The run game is a little harder at this point, at this level. So it'll take an off season for those guys to get better. But then we look at the defense. So normally if a Davin Godchow goes down, you're like, oh, my God, we're screwed. And here's Zach Seiler. Here's Raekwon Davis. Here's Christian Wilkins. You're not even re-signing Godchow next year. That's how freaking loaded you are. I mean, it's awesome. They got ends. They got so many ends that the poor kid Stowbridge can't play. So how is it that in your second year you've developed depth? You're already a playoff contender. You got a quarterback. What the hell is going on here? Did I wake up somewhere else? Did Bill Walsh take over my team or something?
I guess the rebuild was last year, right?
Yeah.
The first 7 weeks, because after that we went 5-4.
Yeah, that's it. It's just starting week 8 on, it's like, okay, hey, guys, we're done with losing. We're just going to win from here on out. Okay, winning season from here on out. It's the craziest thing in the world. What we thought was going to take forever, it's taken no time. How many of us, if they told us ahead of time that this was going to happen, we're like, come on, dude. Come on. What are you smoking? You got some for us?
You know what you'd ask? You know what you'd ask? Hey,
you're not sharing?
You want to make a bet? You want to make a bet?
Exactly. I would have bet anybody that. Come on, dude. I like Greer a lot, but he's not going to turn things around in year 2. The man's tore down the whole thing to the bone. They even had to trade away Tunsil and Minkovich. How's he going to turn it around by year 2? I would have told you you're out of your mind. I mean, you're going to tell me the Dolphins have a shot at 10 wins in year 2. I'm going to tell you, come on.
Bro, and that's a killer point. You're going to start by getting rid of your best secondary player, or because Xavier Howard was hurt, being Fitzpatrick, and you're going to get rid of your future left tackle. That's how you're going to start, and you're going to fast track. You'd be like, dude, I want one of your smoking, buddy.
None of this makes sense, okay? And I told you guys this over a year ago. they will start a trend. And you're going to see other teams, they're going to want to do the same thing. They're going to want to tear it all the way down, get as many picks as they can. Now, will they be able to rebuild it and do it right? That's a whole other ballgame. You got to get the right general manager and the right coach and all that. And Miami was lucky that they had Chris Greer in house, and lucky that he had a relationship with Brian Flores and had that vision. Not everybody's going to have that same luck, but I will tell you, they will start that trend. They will start the trend of tearing it all the way down like they did, and they will start the trend of hiring a minority. Because that's the biggest thing that's happened out of this success here for those guys, is that now minorities may get a better chance at actually getting it done in the NFL, and maybe they get the opportunity that they've all worked for and deserve. And finally, Stephen Ross was smart enough to say, hey, why don't we give that guy a chance? And the rest is history. But this turnaround is one of the greatest turnarounds I have ever seen in pro sports history. In any sport, even basketball. This is amazing, even by basketball standards. And in basketball, you only need a couple players, and you could turn it around right away. In football, you need a lot. And to go from where they were, culturally, talent-wise, cap-wise, everything that went on, and they have changed everything. They changed the cap. They changed the depth. They changed the culture. They found the quarterback. Are you effing kidding me? This is absolutely unheard of. So enjoy it, folks. In a year that I think we get to reflect, because we get to really appreciate what we missed, because COVID has taken away so much from our daily lives, our daily routines, that we have to find these little things that will satisfy us, that will get us by. The Dolphins are helping us out in this process. Because think about it. If we had to endure last year and during 2020, it would have been tough. So we had the tough year before the pandemic hit. And now that the pandemic hit, we needed things to lift our spirits. The Miami Heat did it. The Dolphins are doing it now. The Marlins did a little bit of it. It's pretty cool.
Canes didn't.
Yeah, well, that's up to Manny. Manny's got to get it done. What can I tell you?
Are you looking forward to the bowl game in any capacity?
No,
like,
not at
right,
all.
Right. It's just like, I don't care who we play.
I tweeted out like a month and a half ago. Canes football is nothing to look forward to anymore. It's not an event anymore. Unfortunately, it's not. It's something that's unpredictable. It makes you nervous. Watching Canes football, you need kaopectate right next to you, or a roll of Tums. That's what I feel like the Dolphins used to be for 20 years.
So you're saying while you're watching this game, you're going to get in, have a backup plan to switch to a movie or something else, in other words.
Yeah. Yep. Dennis says, Big O, where's all the talk about the Jets tanking and putting players at risk? Where's all that crap we heard about our Finns? Yeah, the funny part is the Dolphins are evil, but the Jets are just plain stupid. So I guess that's what it is. I mean, you could call them more tanking because they've kept Gase around. Okay? Big O, your onside radio is cool, but your YouTube show is better because we can interact with you and other Dolph fans in the chat section. Your show brings fans together. Awesome, bro. Well, thank you, Jeffrey. I appreciate it. That's kind of the idea. I've always been that host that tries to connect with the listeners because I realize I can't do this without you guys. And in our business, it's a crappy business. And the people above us don't want us to take phone calls. The people above us don't want to include the listeners. But yet they want you to listen, they want you to download, and they want you to support our sponsors. But you're not willing to meet them halfway. What the hell is that? How is that? So it's supposed to be a one-way relationship, and that's never been me for 30 years. So whether you've met me at a concert, at a game, at a live event, whatever, I'm the same dude. So I appreciate it, and we will have video at Onside, and you'll get to interact the same way with all of the hosts. It's going to happen, okay? It's just gradual steps that we're taking with Onside Radio. But eventually we'll get there, I promise you.
I hate to interrupt.
Yeah, let's take a break.
I think we need to get ready for Hal.
Yes.
You know what? Before we do, let me say something I was just noticing. You remember in Rogue One, the way Governor Tarkin was, that CG?
Yeah.
That guy? I'm wondering if, John was saying, that's what they're going to do with Luke.
Okay.
Because you remember how he was a total CG, and it's like, oh, man, there's the guy from the original.
Right.
Peter Cushing. I mean, and I think he passed away after Episode 4. Okay?
Yeah.
So maybe that's how they're going to do it.
You got it. All right. Good stuff. All right, let's take a break. Hal Habib is going to join us from the Palm Beach Post. We'll talk a little Dolphins with the writer from the PB Post next.
America's premium sport compact sedan is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. 2020 ILX, $199 a month, $199. And Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your family dental needs, please reach out to Moody's Dental. I've known Eric for a while, a big fan of our show. Call him at 305-821-0231. Whether it's you or your kids that need some dental help, whether it's implants, Invisaligns, they are the experts. Or if you're just looking to fill a cavity or clean your teeth, or maybe even get a crown, you are going to love the professionalism, the family-like atmosphere. And of course, when you talk about being clean, that's what it's all about in today's society. You are going to go to an extremely clean place. Go to moody'sdental.com, go to the website, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody's Dental. Tell them that Big O sent you. 305-821-0231, or go to moody'sdental.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs, you got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
All righty. Welcome back. We promised you we're going to talk a little Miami Dolphins with my man Hal Habib from the Palm Beach Post. And as always, what was that? Oh, okay. You're crossing your fingers. All right. Let's get to it.
We had a little bit of a difficulty. Remember last time at Caneswear.
No, I got you. Gunner Hal on Twitter. Hal, how you doing, my brother?
I'm good. How are you, Big O?
I can't complain, my friend. I'm loving life, enjoying what's going on with the Dolphins. I was just talking about this, Hal, before you came on. If somebody told you after they tore it all down last year, before the season started, don't worry about it. Next year, they'll be on pace to win 10 games and a shot at the playoffs. What would you have told that person?
I would not have believed it, and that's exactly why, Big O, that I find it hard to imagine a scenario over these final 3 weeks that could play out where at the end of it, we're all saying, oh, that was a big disappointment. I don't think that that's really going to – it would be hard for that scenario to play out right now. I think that regardless of what logical happenings occur, I think Dolphin fans should come out of this feeling very good about 2020.
Yeah, listen, I'm leading the charge there. I've been the guy that's been very unhappy with this team for 2 decades now because they kept doing things that were just incredibly stupid. And now I'm impressed every time because they do all the things pretty much that are logical, that make football sense. And I think that's why this whole thing has fast-tracked the way it has, because you've made great decisions with your cap, great decisions with free agency, great decisions with street free agents, great decisions with the draft. I mean, that's the thing about this team now. You know, how you start to look at it, all we ever did was question one thing or another. Now you look at it and you go, damn, this makes a lot of sense.
Well, there's one other thing that you didn't list in there because I think it's probably understood and maybe a given at this point, but it can't be overlooked because it's a big credit to the organization. And that is, hey, they finally got the right coach.
Yeah.
You know, I said it before the Super Bowl last year. I remember sitting down, maybe my hands were sweaty, I don't know, but I wrote a column saying the Dolphins got this right. And that was before they shut down the Rams in the Super Bowl. I just had this feeling from a few days around Brian Flores that this was a guy who was really going to do it this time. And, you know, now when he makes decisions, no matter how controversial they may be or whatever, you kind of have this feeling of this guy's got some credit behind him. He's earned the benefit of the doubt. And so you kind of go along with it and see how it plays out. And so far, you know, it's most of it's worked. And yeah, they, you know, in the draft, the best thing they did was they didn't overthink it. You know, Tua is sitting there on the board. Everybody has clamored for this guy for a year. And yeah, turn in the card. Let's get this done. And so that was a big first step, and things have fallen into place since then. Some of the other guys they picked up have done well, and now there's a foundation. And when you look at next spring in the draft, there are some pieces they need to fill in, and finally we've got confidence that they're going to focus on that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. That's been the amazing part about this run is how competent it feels now when they're making decisions. How, when you look at this game, this is a great opportunity for the Dolphins to send a message. Last year, the Patriots got the best of them in the first meeting, but by the second meeting, the Dolphins were the better team. They were playing better at that time. They went 5-4 in those last 9 games. Plus, obviously, Flo knows that team well, and they won. This year, well, they got the better of them in the first game again because their team was kind of in flux with all the new players. Now, they're the better team again, playing the better football. I know they got a bunch of injuries, and hopefully they get those guys back. But another win late in the season where you knocked them to the wild card round this year, and this year last year, and this year you might knock them out of the playoffs, is a great way to send a message that, you know what, you guys are no longer the kings of this division. It's going to be some other people fighting for the lead in this division.
Yeah, and obviously Buffalo is leading the charge this year, but it is interesting that the roles have definitely flip-flopped. Some of the principals involved in this game might not want to acknowledge it, but it's right there for everybody to see. And, you know, I'm sitting here writing a story about that opening game compared to this game. For one thing, I don't know about you, Big O, but it almost seems like it was like last year. So much has gone on, and this season has been just so unique and so crazy that it does seem like ages ago. The Dolphins went into that game not really knowing what to expect of Cam Newton in that offense. And as we saw, the Patriots did run all over the Dolphins. The Dolphins were still finding themselves on defense. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the Dolphins can handle that running attack this time. You know, that defense has improved so much over the course of the year that I think it's going to be a different story, especially if New England comes in here thinking that they're going to run for 217 yards again.
How impressed were you with Tua last week after he loses all his weapons? And I would imagine also Andy Reid going for it on fourth down and not punting back to the kid after he's driven the field twice for 2 scores. How impressed were you with Tua?
Yeah, well, that's kind of, Andy Reid is not a gun-shy kind of coach, and that's one reason I like watching his team's games. As far as Tua, yeah, he showed me a lot. I mean, everybody thought when they were down by 20 that the game was over, and he stuck to it. You know, something that Mahomes said after the game really was a credit to Tua, and it rang true. He said, when I was a rookie, if I were down by 20, I'd be trying to run in there and get a 20-point play. And Tua took his time, brought Miami back one play at a time. He did a lot of things right. This is a kid who is, well, he's not a kid, he's seasoned in a lot of ways, having played big games at Alabama. He's mature. And I think all of those things really bode well for the Dolphins. And for him to do it with a cast of receivers that, nobody knew who those guys were at the beginning of the year. It wasn't Preston Williams and Devontae and Jakeem in there. Who would have expected any of that?
Yeah, no, listen, at this point, the rate that this team is improving, it's really incredible to watch the turnaround. Hal Habib, by the way, from the Palm Beach Post, joining us. You can follow him on Twitter. He's a terrific follow at Gunner Hal, as always, and he'll keep you updated on several things that he's always covering with the Palm Beach Post, but he covers a lot of the Dolphins. And so Dolphins getting ready to take on the Patriots at Hard Rock Stadium. I was thinking about this, Hal. They say that Belichick does a great job against rookies, and yes, he does do well against rookie quarterbacks. How much do you consider Tua the same kind of bait for Belichick, or with Flores and company there, do you think it's a little different, that Tua may have a little bit more of an edge than other rookies that have had to face Belichick?
Well, it's interesting because there are a couple of sets of stats out there. And I know Armando at the Herald had one set where he looked up things regarding young quarterbacks going against Belichick. I went and did it a slightly different way. I took 11 of the best quarterbacks in the league, and I looked up the first time they went against Belichick's defense, whether it was as a rookie or maybe in some cases second year, third year, whatever. And I looked at how they did. And, a couple of things stood out to me. One is that they did better than you would expect. They actually had 18 touchdowns and only 9 interceptions. I think the record was 5-6. You wouldn't have thought it would have been that good. So it's not like this is just, an insurmountable chore that Tua has in front of him. Obviously, Flores, knowing Belichick's defense, he ran Belichick's defense. He'll have a good idea on how Tua should approach this. All of those things are in Miami's favor. Of course, Belichick being the coach he is, that's not in Miami's favor. But that's part of the chess match, part of the fun. Overall, I do see Miami coming out on top in this one. Yeah,
I like Miami. Well, now that I hear, a lot of the guys are practicing, I kind of feel better about this matchup because Van Noy and Landon Roberts are needed against the run. You got to get Parker back. And I give Parker a lot of credit. I know he constantly gets banged up, but he's kind of fought through injuries now in the last 2 seasons, something that he really never did in the past. But if they can get those guys back, that'll be huge. But I got to tell you how the fact that Gesicki apparently was catching passes today, I'm floored with that one because it looked to me like he was done for the season the way they were holding his arm walking off the field.
Absolutely. I mean, I was thinking I couldn't write it because I didn't know it. I'm not a doctor, but I certainly thought, hey, this is done. We're 3 games left after this, and I didn't see how he was going to come back. I watched the replay. I saw the impact he had when he landed on that shoulder. I just didn't see any way it was going to work for him. And when they said that he was limited even in a walkthrough yesterday, and then, questionable now, we'll see what they say Sunday morning when we get the list of inactives. But for him to even be a possibility right now, it's like, are you kidding me? So, yeah, he's the guy has done so much for this offense. He's just getting better by the week. Credit to him. I don't know. Credit to the training staff, too. I don't know how they're doing it.
I'm with you. Now, it won't be easy, but is the game plan this simple? Just stop the run because Cam can't beat you with his arm. Is that the way you look at it? And is that what Miami has to do on Sunday?
Yeah, I really do look at it that way. I would love to see Miami be able to roll out an effective running game this time. The running backs have been so banged up and stuck on the COVID list and everything. That's one thing that we haven't seen these past several weeks. And that would be something that would be nice to see, take a little bit of heat off of Tua. And then, hey, if Gesicki's out there, if Parker's effective, some of those other things fall into place, we could see the offense doing some pretty good things out there. But like I said, overall, this New England team is certainly not a typical New England team. So that's why I just don't see Miami losing to them.
Follow him on Twitter at Gunner Hal. Hal, thank you as always, my brother, for taking some time and dropping the knowledge. Before I let you go, I see a shepherd in your Twitter feed there, and a golden retriever. Now, are those both your dogs, or is that one current, one past? How is that?
Actually, the shepherd is past, but always in my thoughts.
Of course.
He was just wonderful. I have a 9-month-old golden retriever puppy who's staring at me right now, wondering why I'm not playing with her. And golden retrievers are just awesome. So,
yeah.
You can't go wrong either way.
No, we had ours, sadly, not long enough. We had Pegasus for 8 years, and then he got neck cancer, and we had to put him down, and it was just, devastating. And then we were without a dog for about a year, and then we got on a roll, and we adopted 4. So now we have 4. Yeah, we have 4 in the house. We have 2 Chihuahuas. We have a Yorkie, and we have a big girl. She's a mix. She's a German Shepherd Terrier Boxer combination, but she's beautiful. It's a really great combo. We adopted her at a place called Paws for You, and so yeah, we got one big one and 3 small ones, and they dominate. So nothing like dogs, and as you have in your byline, you're a dog person, and as you know, dogs are way better than people, my brother.
Yeah, and I can definitely see myself getting another German Shepherd when the time is right. All I can say is, if anyone out there is thinking about it, the greatest Christmas gifts I've ever gotten were dogs.
Yeah.
So if you're still wondering about that shopping list, find a good breeder, a reputable breeder, make someone really happy for years to come.
Adopt.
It's going to be better than anything you can. Yep.
Okay.
That's it. It'll be better than anything you can find in Best Buy or wherever else.
Oh, there's nothing like. I mean, when I leave here and I get home, and there's 4 dogs going crazy, it's just it's the therapy you get from them every single day. Considering all the craziness we have to deal with every day, it's as therapeutic as it gets. So I'm with you there. So I love the pictures of the dogs, my brother. Thank you for taking some time. You're a stud.
Thank you, Big O. Take care now.
You got it. There you go. Hal Habib from the Palm Beach Post. He's also, it says, a hopeless Arsenal supporter, which that's me too. I'm a hopeless Arsenal supporter also. So we thank him. Thank you, Hal, for joining us. And I also got to thank Stephen DeFilippis for coming by and joining us. Stephen is a longtime listener of our show. He was here with his son hanging out, and so we appreciate both of them coming by and joining us. Steven's a really good dude. Follow him. The Twitter handle is SWDEA7, I think it is, something like that. It's funny how we don't remember I don't remember any phone numbers now, but I do remember Twitter handles now. That's what I remember for people. I shouldn't say that. I don't remember everybody's Twitter handle. Steven's been tweeting me for years now, and we've hooked up a couple times, seen each other here, and so he and his son came by here, so that's why I kind of know his Twitter handle, and I always go back and forth with him on Twitter. So thank you, Steven, for coming by and saying hi. It's really, really nice of you. And I appreciate anybody that comes by to say hi in any of our places that we go to week in and week out. So thank you very much. Thanks to Hal Habib for joining us. Thank you for Stephen DeFilippis for coming by and saying hi. Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate it. I thought at first he had shades on and a mask, right? So I wasn't sure who it was. Well, no, wait a minute. I think he only had the mask on at that moment. And so I wasn't sure.
Dolphin mask.
Yeah, dolphin mask, right. And so Danny Johnson was going to come by. The Positive Porpoise was going to come by because, what's it called? NorCal told me that he was going to come by, and so I gave him the address, and I thought that was him. But I forgot Stephen also told me that he was coming by too. And so I appreciate it, Stephen. Thank you. And sorry for confusing you, because I thought Danny Johnson was also who was coming. And I had just, gone back and forth with NorCal, so that's why it was in my mind. And I forgot that you were coming, Stephen, to be honest with you. And then I remember, that's right, Stephen was coming over.
You got a lot to remember there, man. Twitter handles.
I don't know how I remember anything, dude. I really don't. I have no idea how I remember anything at this point in my life.
I'll remind you of that every chance I get.
Every chance, yes. And I deserve it, because it is, my brain is Fry City, man. It is crazy. Let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, I got to give you my picks. Let's see what else.
Are we going to have time? Because we're about 5 minutes away from Franco.
Yeah, give me a second here. Let me do this.
All right. You
let
want
me
to
do this
I don't know how many
real
picks
quick.
you got.
By the way, I did give a good advice yesterday, right? Somebody, I didn't bet it, but somebody asked me, what am I leaning to? I told you to take Chargers +3. Okay, so you won yesterday. Now, I can't use it as
In
one of my.
spite of their kicker, right?
Yeah, in spite of the Canes kicker screwing up constantly. Let's give you these picks. Browns and Giants. The Browns are favored by 6. The over and under is 44. The Browns are minus 280 in the money line. The Giants are plus 240. I'm going to go with the Browns. I'm going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm going to give the 6. I think the Giants they just struggle too much right now. I think the Browns are pretty damn good. I think they're going to bounce back. They're playing an easier team than they played last week in Baltimore. I'm dropping the 6. I think they win by 7 or 10. Browns minus 6 against the Giants. Kansas City taking on the Saints. I hear Drew Brees now is going to play. If he is, the over and under is kind of sexy, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go Kansas City minus 3.5. I think Kansas City wins by 6, 7, 8 points easily in this game. They're minus 175 on the money line. The Saints are plus 145. The over and under is 51.5. I'll tell you this, it's not one of my bets, but man, I'd lean a little bit to the over if Breeze does play in this game because they're going to score a lot of points. But anyway, the bet I do like is Kansas City minus 3.5. I think that happens. Seattle is favored by 6. The over and under against Washington is 44.5. Seattle's minus 260 in the money line. Washington is plus 220. I'm going to go with the Seahawks plus 6. Played a really good game last week. I think they'll bounce. They'll continue to play well as they come back this week. Washington, I just can't buy their offense. I love their defense, and I think that, they'll fight, they'll battle, but I think Seattle will do enough to win by 7 or 10 points here, and Washington will not do anything I don't care if they can get Alex Smith back or not, or if they're going to play Haskins. It doesn't matter. Alex Smith is I think he's the worst rated quarterback out of the top 32. And if not, Haskins is not any better. They can't score with a fistful of dollars in a whorehouse. I'm going Seattle minus 6. New England and Miami. The over and under is 41. Miami is favored by 2. Miami is minus 125 in the money line. New England is plus 105 in the money line. I'm going Dolphins here. Dolphins will win this game. They'll win it easily. They'll win at least by a touchdown to 10 points. They're favored by 2. I'm not telling you they're going to rout them by 20 or 30, but I think they'll pull away in the end, and I think they win by 7 to 10 points in this one. I really do. I think Miami's the better team. I don't believe in Cam. I'm sorry. And I don't believe Miami is going to bend over backwards like they did in the first matchup and allow them to run all over them. They're gonna stack that box, and they're going to make sure that they don't run because you can leave X and Byron Jones alone. And they don't have a tight end. So it's not like Eric Rowe's going to be busy. Okay? Get him in there, play a little more Brandon Jones, stop the run, knock the hell out of him, lay the 2, go with Miami. Miami minus 2 against New England, Seattle minus 6 against Washington, Kansas City minus 3.5 against the Saints, and the Browns minus 6 against the Giants. Those are the picks this week in the NFL slate. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll switch gears real quick. We'll talk to Franco Panizo. We'll get his thoughts on what he thinks Inter Miami will do at the general manager spot and even at the head coach spot. Back with more right here on the Big O Radio Show.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your family dental needs, please reach out to Moody's Dental. I've known Eric for a while, a big fan of our show. Call him at 305-821-0231. Whether it's you or your kids that need some dental help, whether it's implants, Invisaligns, they are the experts. Or if you're just looking to fill a cavity or clean your teeth, or maybe even get a crown, you are going to love the professionalism, the family-like atmosphere. And of course, when you talk about being clean, that's what it's all about in today's society. You are going to go to an extremely clean place. Go to moody'sdental.com, go to the website, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody's Dental. Tell them that Big O sent you, 305-821-0231, or go to moody'sdental.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, Southside of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O for all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs. You got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Back. All right, let's switch gears here. Let's talk a little football, and we'll get back to talking a little football after that. But we got to talk a little Inter Miami. Franco Panizo does an excellent job. Of course, you got to catch Miami Total Football. Follow Miami Total Football also on Twitter, like I and so many others do. So make sure you do that at MIA Total Football. That's the podcast. Follow it on Twitter, and then follow my man Franco also on Twitter at Franco Panizo, senior reporter covering Inter Miami and also SBI Soccer. Franco, how you doing, my brother? You doing all right?
I'm good, man. I'm a little disappointed that I can't see your face this time with the masks on, but no, everything's good, brother. Besides that, everything's good. Just got back from Columbus earlier this week. Went to go see the final between Columbus Crew and Seattle. So that was cool. It was my 10th MLS Cup that I've covered in person. So that was a nice little way to extend that streak and to cap off my first MLS season back home. So everything's good, and now we're trying to unwind a little bit, but it doesn't seem like we get much chance because there's news happening left and right when it comes into Miami.
Yes, and that's actually good for you and your business that there's all kinds of news coming from Inter Miami. And so obviously they dropped the bomb last week with Paul stepping down, and then this whole thing hit with Diego Alonso, whether he thought he was fired and he wasn't. So what's the latest? What are you hearing from Inter? What do you think is going to happen?
I mean, the latest we've heard is that Diego Alonso, as of today, is still Inter Miami's head coach. Will he be in 2021 when the ball gets rolling? I mean, that's up for debate. I would say it's looking maybe unlikely. I don't really understand. In soccer, I've never heard of this, and I don't know if I've heard of this in any sport. I mean, you cover and have covered the major sports for a long time down here and across the United States, and maybe you can recall something like this, but I don't ever recall a coach leaving a meeting with ownership or leadership and then thinking he was fired, but not being fired, but telling people he was fired, but the team has to come out and say he's not fired. It just seems like one convoluted mess, and I know the word was miscommunication. That's the word that's been used in the aftermath of that, but I don't understand how you get to that point of miscommunication. How does a coach come away from a meeting thinking he's been let go, but he hasn't been? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't seem very good right now for Diego Alonso. It doesn't seem very good for Inter Miami right now. It seems like it's a little bit of a mess behind the scenes. I've heard some things over the past few weeks since the season ended. And I'll say they haven't been as complimentary as some might hope. It's been more on the negative side. So.
Well, I mean, this isn't the kind of season you should be positive about. I mean, listen, for me, I don't really have a problem with this season because it's an expansion team. So it's more often than not, that's how your season's going to go as an expansion team. What Nashville did is actually not normal, but they had way more advantages over Miami. They had players already that were rolling over from their USL days. They had the same coach. They had the same system in place. So they had their identity set already, and they built it along that identity. So they had a much bigger advantage than Miami. So for me, I don't have a problem with the way the season went, but I understand with all the expectations that everybody else put on the team that they wanted more than what they got. So those folks that expected more, they're going to be disappointed with what went on. That I understand.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you there, Bigo. I'm glad. Look, I've been meaning to say this for the last month or two, and I haven't had a chance to say it. I'm glad that there was another expansion team in action this season, because if it would have been a case like next year where Austin FC is coming in and they're going to be the only expansion team, it would have been pointed at like, hey, there was COVID and there was all these issues, so that's why Inter Miami couldn't succeed or wasn't able to succeed as much as they would have liked or hoped. But with Nashville also on board, it shows you that, especially in 2020, while there were challenges, MLS was also much more flattering and rewarding and gracious in terms of allowing how many teams, 10 teams in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference, which is how Inter Miami made it on the final match day of the regular season. Otherwise, if it had been their regular setup, Nashville would have gotten in anyway, but Miami would have been well off and eliminated well before that last game. So
sure.
Miami didn't overall just, it has its own challenges for sure. They're different cases, but they're both expansion teams. And Miami is one of the teams with the highest payrolls in MLS, right? So, I mean, there was no way that this team should have finished 10th place in the Eastern Conference, fighting for its playoff life on the final day of the regular season.
Wait, hold on a second. You add your coach late. You add your best players late into the season. You didn't really have time to develop chemistry or an identity. The coach really didn't get to build the team in his vision, whereas in Nashville, they already had the team. They rolled over from the USL. All they had to do was add a few more players, but they already had the coach, the system, everything, the culture, everything was in place. So they were way ahead of Miami culturally.
Not many of their USL players, though. Not many of their USL players carried over into the MLS team, and not many. There's a handful, and not many that were regular starters or contributors. A lot. They went about their approach differently. They decided to go with MLS experience and veterans that they traded for, that they prized, and they traded for, let's say, Dax McCarty.
And he knows the league too, and the head coach knows the league.
Went about it differently.
Right.
Miami bet on a different approach. Yes, they had challenges, like you said, and I agree with you. We can talk about that, on a much deeper scale at some point. But the coach getting hired late, the players coming late. There's reasons for that, and Paul McDonough was the guy in charge of that, and he's no longer I guess he's still helping with the transition, but he will soon no longer be involved in terms of calling the shots from a sporting director standpoint. And that's probably one of the reasons why, is because he missed and he was late on making these signings, whether it was a coach in Diego Alonso. He was hired December 30th of last year, mere weeks before preseason started. And then he couldn't get a designated player until the big name designated player until September, when he got Gonzalo Higuain. And COVID, I will repeat, COVID affected and impacted his ability to do so. But even before Higuain, I remember him publicly coming out and saying that they were trying to sign Willian, the Brazilian winger, or Edison Cavani, the Uruguayan prolific goal-scoring striker. And he couldn't get a deal done either. Now, maybe they couldn't come to terms because the players wanted too much money. But, I mean, his job is to sell the team, right, to sell the vision and lure these players in, or lure these coaches in. And the fact that it took him time to do that, and that they lost time that came back to hurt them, I mean, that's a big strike against him. So, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons, not the only reason, but I think that's one of the reasons he's no longer or will soon no longer be involved with the team.
All right, so, and we're talking with Franco Panizo, by the way, a reporter covering, of course, Inter Miami for SBI Soccer. All right, so what's your information or your gut tell you on what they're going to do with the general manager position? Do they get somebody from the outside, or do they get somebody that knows the league?
I mean, if it was up to me, if I was, involved in calling the shots, I would say get someone from MLS that knows MLS. Last year, and it was reported this year that they, the other finalists, right? It came down to Paul McDonough and it came down to Chris Henderson, who is the technical director at the Seattle Sounders. And for me, and of course, hindsight's 2020. I'll preface with saying that, but for me, if you put resume by resume, side by side, Paul McDonough or Chris Henderson's, I would take Chris Henderson every day of the week. He's not the number one guy in Seattle, but he has experience in MLS. He played for the Miami Fusion, so he knows a bit of the culture locally, and then he knows MLS well. He's helped build a team with a very extensive and high-priced budget, and been able to help them become a very successful team in Major League Soccer, if not maybe the most successful team of the past decade in MLS. They've won, I think,
since the DC United, since the early days of the DC United. They're like the modern day DC United, actually.
I think it's probably DC United, then the Galaxy of the early 2010s.
That's right. That's right.
And then Seattle's kind of taken that belt or that title since then, or that that role, because I think since they came into the league in 2008, 2009, they've won, and I wrote this in my column last week, they've won 7 pieces of significant trophies, 7 important MLS trophies or trophies in U.S. soccer, because they've won some Open Cups as well as some MLS Cups. And they just made their 4th MLS Cup final in 5 years. They lost 3-0, and it wasn't a great game for them. And obviously, it's not what they want. But, I mean, in a league where parity is supposed to reign supreme, making 4 finals in 5 years is a massive, massive accomplishment. So if it was up to me, I'd find a way to go get Chris Henderson, make it happen. Maybe he's going to want a little more money now, because obviously the situation's not as plush as it might have been a year ago, but try to make that happen. Do I think they're going to go that route? I don't know, man. I mean, at this point, it's going to be up to Jorge and David and Jose as well to make the decision. And, given that Jorge and Jose are probably still new to MLS and still new to soccer, I think they're going to maybe lean on David Beckham there a little bit more with his soccer savvy and his soccer IQ. And I would not be surprised if they go for a more international, a more experienced, maybe not experienced, but internationally experienced, someone that has maybe more connections around the world of soccer. I wouldn't be surprised if they go that route. But, I mean, if it was up to me, go get Chris Henderson, give him whatever he wants, or almost anything he wants, and try to make him come on board.
Does Diego Alonso survive now?
That's a good question, man. I would have said yes a week ago. When I wrote that column and I said, Paul was leaving, I thought, all right, they're going to go with one or the other, giving Diego a chance to go all in on his vision, and maybe giving him one more window to try to sign some players. I thought that they would go that route. I thought that was probably the best route, because essentially if you get rid of your coach and your GM, you're starting from zero yet again. This expansion season is essentially a lost season because you're starting from scratch, and you could even argue that they're starting below zero because now you're getting a coach and a GM that didn't even sign these players, that doesn't really maybe rate these players. So you're starting again, but with players that they're going to have to get rid of over time. So it's a bit of a mess. I'm going to venture to say no, he doesn't make it to 2021. It doesn't seem like the cards are in his favor right now. I mean, this is just speculation, not information, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were looking for someone to replace him right now, and they just haven't let him go because they don't have that person lined up. They don't want to get rid of him before they've got their replacement already ready to sign the contract, because otherwise they could get stuck in a situation where they're head coachless.
Is his agent the guy stirring up all this stuff with Peñarol and everything else?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if again with the idea or the belief or the perception that he had that he was fired. I wouldn't be surprised if he was letting his agent know, like, hey, start putting out some feelers because I got to get ready to make my next move because it doesn't look like I'm going to be coaching here. So wouldn't be surprised if, there's behind the scenes, there's been work and negotiations and dealings on his side or his party's side to try to line something up for 2021. If, in fact, the belief is that he won't be back in 2021. I don't think he will be. I think it's looking very, very unlikely. I think, I mean, at this point, I thought the best case, like I said just now, would be to give one of the two, whether it was Paul or Diego, another season to try to turn it around. They, once they got rid of Paul, I thought Diego would have been, the best chance to give this team a good chance to succeed in 2021. But it looks like they're going to go a different approach. So we'll see what Jose and David come up with. What decisions they make. It's very important. These decisions, this next decision is very important, not only for 2021, but for going forward. Because, I mean, I know that this radio station is owned by them, but I'm going to be frank, they missed on their first decision. They missed by hiring Paul McDonough. Paul McDonough, like we just said, missed on, then he took he took a while to sign the head coach, and it took a while to sign the designated player. So that first decision by them was a miss, and it is what it is. It's sports, sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. They got it wrong, and now they're paying they're dealing with the aftermath of that. So they have to get this next hire and these next hires or these next decisions absolutely right if Inter Miami is going to be the team that all of South Florida wants it to be.
Franco Panizo joining us. Check out the podcast, by the way, Miami Total Football. Franco, the other thing I wanted to ask you with the regular season. What have you heard? Still 34 games, still starting in March. Bubble, no bubble. What do you hear? Anything about the upcoming season?
Well, it definitely won't be a bubble. It'll be, with the idea as of now is to have, more regular travel like we saw during the final few months of the regular season. MLS wants to start in March, early to mid-March, as is normally the case. MLS Commissioner Don Garber came out and said that during his State of the League address during the week last Monday, before MLS Cup, and that's what MLS wants. Now, the MLS Players Association has already come out and kind of pushed back against that idea, saying that players, are feeling fatigued and mentally and physically, and they've also, a bunch of them have caught COVID over the season, so it looks like there's still some negotiating to be had in that regard. There's also still a lot to figure out with how COVID, how the whole thing unravels or develops, both here and in Canada. Right now, Canada, obviously the Canadian teams, the two Canadian teams had issues traveling. That could still be a talking point in 2021. So it just really depends on how things, play out over the next few weeks and months, because if the Canadian teams can't travel, then you have another situation where they're going to have to try to be based in the United States. And can you really base those teams in the United States when, they have their families and, their girlfriends or whatever in Canada and their homes in Canada? So it's something to be determined. I would say you'd probably expect it anywhere from March to April is probably the likeliest bet, but we'll see how everything plays out.
Oh, they're getting kicked out because the NBA teams can't play in Canada, so that's that's consistent. Toronto today, the Heat play Toronto in Tampa because that's Toronto's home, Tampa. So I would imagine that that's going to be the same thing for the MLS. The Canadian teams are going to have to move in here to the United States somewhere and make it their home. Unfortunately, I mean, what are they going to do? They're not going to make that kind of money by saying no, and then they're going to go find a job in Canada that pays them that kind of money. So I doubt they're going to do that. So those players are going to have to move and adjust with it like the rest of us would in this kind of a situation because it is what it is. Franco, what else are you working on SBI Soccer so folks can check you out?
Yeah, right now I'm working on some CONCACAF Champions League coverage. So the semifinals are tomorrow. They're being played, for anyone who's not been following us closely, they're being played. The semifinals are being played tomorrow. There's one MLS team remaining in the competition. That's LAFC. They're Major League Soccer's final hope in 2020 to end this trophyless drought in this tournament. MLS has never had a team win the competition. 3 teams have made the finals, but no one has won this tournament. So LAFC is the last hope for Major League Soccer in 2020. They play Club America tomorrow. Club America has the Colombian striker Roger Martinez, who Inter Miami was after at one point this season. They openly and publicly said that. So that's not me breaking any news there, but keep an eye out on him and keep an eye out on the game this weekend if you're at home and have some downtime to watch some football, because it should be a fun game. Both teams like to attack. Both teams like to have the ball. So it should be an open and fun affair. It should be very intense given that they're both playing for a spot in the final. So I'm going to check out this weekend, and obviously next week with the holidays, Christmas ramping up, and then New Year's. Now, obviously trying to spend some time with the family as well. But plenty to still talk about and work on, especially with Inter Miami, because the telenovela that is this off season is only just beginning.
Follow him on Twitter at Franco Panizo. Franco, as always, great work, my brother. Thank you for taking some time.
Thanks, Big O. Talk to you soon, brother.
You got it. There you go. The great Franco Panizo, man. Good stuff as always. We thank him for taking some time and joining us here on the show. Ryan Dunn says, listener from Iowa, my question is, why are all the writers infatuated with starting Herbert as better narrative before one season is in the books? Totally different situations for both QBs. Why the second guessing? Because they got nothing better to do, Ryan. It's a 24-hour news cycle. We got to find stuff to say, stuff to write about, crap to say. You know that today I saw on First Take, should John Gruden be on the hot seat? And I'm sitting there going, the dude is just completing his 3rd year of a 10-year, $100 million deal. He's got a cheap owner who his dad used to sue every coach that worked for him, okay, to try to get his money back because he was so cheap he didn't even like paying coaches. And when you would have success as a coach, instead of rewarding you, he'd let you leave, is what he would do. And you got a guy that is, cheap. So you think that John Gruden is going to get cut and they're going to pay 7 years of salary? Come on, man. Are you kidding me? They're stuck with Gruden for years. And why? 24-hour news cycle. And so you run out of subjects, and then you've got to talk about them and talk about them and talk about it. Let me tell you something. We were doing, Bill and I, during the, heart of the pandemic when everybody was quarantining and closed down. As you all know, we were on every day. We were on every day with 3 and 4 remotes a week. And there was no sports going on. And yet we had to come up with 3 hours, sometimes even 4 hours of talk, which I don't know how we did it for months, but we did it. I can't imagine what it's like to have to come up with 24 hours of talk. It's just impossible. And I know literally they're not talking 24 hours because they're repeating some of the shows overnight. I get it, but whatever. 18 hours, 17, 15 hours. It's a lot of talk.
In any capacity, are you giving them, because the Orlovskis,
I'm
the
not,
Foxworth, some of the comments, some of the direction.
they get no breaks.
Okay, I just
No,
wanted to make
'cause
sure
no,
where you were going with this.
Yeah. If you're gonna
'cause,
say stupid things like Foxworth, no, dude, no.
you're endangering the lives of
Yeah.
players.
Yeah, no. Dominique Foxworth is the latest one that Dominique Foxworth has, that he roots against Josh Allen fans because they have dogs and American flags. Like, he was trying to insinuate that they're all white racists, the people that follow Josh Allen. So he roots against Josh Allen, not because he dislikes the kid, because he dislikes what he thinks are Josh Allen fans. This is what Dominique Foxworth said on the air. It's really amazing. It's crazy that you would actually say something that stupid and that ignorant. And I got to tell you something. Don't know how he's not getting fired. Hell of a double standard. A white dude says that, and he's fired. He's fired. I talked about this on Onside. We laughed when Reggie White was saying, hey, Chinese people, they can turn a toaster into a clock. And Hispanic people, well, they can fit 50 people in a house and be comfortable. And you white people, Jewish people, they're good at finding money. All these stereotypes that he threw out there, that if a white dude would have done it, man, Reggie does it, and we're laughing. It was a different time, because this was 20 years ago, maybe even more. I don't know. It might have been in the 90s, actually, when this happened. So it was a different era, but we were literally laughing and tripping out that Reggie was throwing out all these stereotypes like it was nothing.
And even if it would have got some backlash, he could have played "I'm a Reverend" card, right?
Yeah, no, but still, it's just there's a double standard, and unfortunately, when I see Dominique Foxworth basically say, "Well, I'm not rooting." Look, dude, I don't like the Bills. I'm not a Bills fan, but I'm not rooting for the Bills to lose because their fans, I think, are racist. That's stupid. And that's stupid to think that Josh Allen fans are racist. I mean, you got to listen to the cut. It's really like, it floors you. And like, really, dude, are you actually saying this? And I didn't know.
Do you think that he took advantage of the fact that being black, that you can go there and push that envelope and kind of get away with it?
I don't know.
Do you think maybe?
I don't know. But Foxworth cannot say things like that. You can't say, I'm rooting against Josh Allen fans because, you basically are saying they're racist. That doesn't make any sense, on his part. But this is kind of consistent with Dominique Foxworth. Like what he said about the Dolphins last year was incredibly stupid. And maybe that's what it is from Foxworth. He just comes up with stupid comments. It's not really that he's biased in any way, shape, or form. It's just he kind of thinks about stupid things and then says it. I mean, the stuff he said about the Dolphins, that it was unethical last year, the way they were playing and putting people at risk and this and that. It's like, what the hell is wrong with you, dude? It's football. They're all football players. And eventually they all got better. But again, you can kind of get away with it. And he's lucky. Because let me tell you, some other people might have felt a heck of a lot more backlash on that one. That was tough. Let's see. Troy says, NFL Live is pure trash. Mina Kimes is a joke, too. Troy doesn't like Mina Kimes. I don't know anything. I don't know too much about Mina Kimes. The only thing I do know that every time I see her, she depends completely on stats. Everything tells you about stats, and I'm just not that guy because I actually watch the games. And so sometimes the stats can be misleading. I tell you that all the time. Sounds like the reincarnation of Archie. Big O.
Jimmy used to say stats are for
losers.
Yep.
Big O, Danny will bring you a hat to the TPP luncheon at Bo Campers, noon to 3 p.m. Remember, puff, puff, don't give. NorCal, I don't know if I'll be there tomorrow. I will try. Can't promise that. I may go, may not be. I'll try. I'll try.
Are they having a gathering?
Yeah. It's like my only day off, and I don't know if I want to drive all the way to Fort Lauderdale, bro.
I was kidding. Yeah, because you're going to turn around and do it the next day for the post game.
I do it every day.
That's true.
Every day.
Yes. You know what? That would be the one day you don't have to do it.
Right.
That you.
Yes.
By the way, speaking of which,
so tomorrow.
how many miles do you have on your brand new car, sir?
I don't know. It's over 20 already. But
so you went back and forth to L.A. like
a couple times.
10, 12, 14
It's not that
times.
much. It's like 3,000, so it wouldn't be.
I'm exaggerating, my brother.
Yeah, but Norca, I don't know, bro. I may just vegetate tomorrow, man. You know.
Thank goodness you got a nice car, man, because you spend a lot of time in it.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I'm going to drive, I got to drive in something that's very comfortable and I can enjoy myself. Just like this gentleman next to us is looking at a really nice car next to us.
That car just looks like, where's the racetrack? Let's go. Get out of my way. Get out of regular roads.
Right?
Don't racetrack.
That is so true. Like, how in the hell can I get in that car and not speed? You know what I'm saying? It's like impossible, man. It is awesome. It is awesome. All right. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the text line. That's 786-322-1105.
Travis is saying this used to be his friend's car.
Oh.
And his friend traded in the car. And Travis is furious
because wanted to buy
Travis wanted to buy the car.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a bad
And I could totally understand.
GT,
I would be like Travis. Pissed as hell. What are you doing, man?
It's a GT. It's really nice.
That thing is
that thing will fly.
It does. Seriously, it looks like it wants a racetrack.
Yeah, no, it'll get me in trouble, that's for sure. EJ says, imagine going into Buffalo 10-5, win or go home. Buffalo is just as good, and they were when we first played them, but the Dolphins are a much different team this time. We'll see. We'll see in that final game if they can do it. Let's see, what else do we have here? Move to Broward. We got Chick-fil-A. Well, GP Trap, we're about to add a Chick-fil-A right in Kendall where I live. But it's a nice job by you because you know what Chick-fil-A means to me. So you know me well. I love me my Chick-fil-A.
Did you see that In-N-Out Burger? It's got 2 locations in Colorado now.
Okay. Yeah, that's
it was about a month
east
ago.
Enough. I mean,
I know, but
if you're In-N-Out, how do you not put them in Colorado? Weed is legal there. Everybody's smoking and got the munchies in Colorado. You
don't
gotta have In-N-Out burgers.
Wait a minute,
there.
man. You don't have to have the munchies to enjoy In-N-Out, bro.
But
you and me did it 5 times in 8 days.
I get it. But if you're smoking, you're probably going to want In-N-Out a lot faster than the person not smoking. So I'm just saying there's a lot of smoking going on in Colorado. So if there's a lot of smoking going on in Colorado, you should open up an In-N-Out burger.
Well, there was a lot of people smoking. Supposedly the first day they opened, there were people in line for like 10 hours.
Oh, I mean the taxes that they're collecting is crazy. Now with Biden in place, you can expect dispensaries to be blowing up all over the country. You can guarantee that for sure. I'm telling you, folks, invest in weed. Okay? As they say in the Hollywood Nights, a friend with weed is a friend indeed. All right? So make sure you do that. I did buy a Hollywood Nights shirt the other day. I'm waiting for it. I didn't know that they made them. So I got one. I want to get me like a Hollywood Nights jacket. What is it? It's like a wine-colored jacket from the movie. I think that would be a really cool thing to have for the heck of it. Julius 305 says, La Casita this morning and now In-N-Out. Need a food segment. Yeah. Yeah, and La Casita's
La
good.
Casita,
Yeah,
bro.
Bill knows about La Casita.
Oh, man.
Because my two producers in the morning, they don't know. They've never eaten at La Casita. And they're both Cubans. So that's kind of weird, you know what I'm saying? Because most people that know about good Cuban restaurants in town, yes, we know the cliche. We know the norm. La Carreta and Versailles, all that. And so the conversation came up because Chad Johnson went to a place called Havana's in Cooper City. I've never been to it, but he told the folks at Cooper City, "Hey, can you hold off and open the and keep the place open because they close at 10?" And so he said he would give them $100 for every minute he's over 10 o'clock. He went there and bought something that was $2.12 and left a $1,300 tip. Because obviously he must have gone at 10:13.
Chad did that?
Yeah, Chad. Well, Chad does that all the time. He leaves a whole bunch of big tips all over the place.
Yeah, but we've also
I know he's not in
heard the.
football. I know. But anyway, so I'd never been to Havana, so I asked the people on the on-site, like I would ask here, anybody know about that place, Havana's in Cooper City, if it was any good? And I go, is it like La Casita? And then that's where my producer's like, La Casita. And I go, yeah, I know. You guys are going to tell me Versailles and La Carreta, which are terrific. I like those places too. But La Casita is fantastic. I think it's one of the best Cuban restaurants. And so they didn't know anything about La Casita, so I explained it to them. So Julius, who was listening to both shows, the morning and now, he hears me talk about La Casita in the morning and now Chick-fil-A. So he wants a food segment so we can get him hungry every day.
Man, I haven't been to La Casita in forever. And the last time I was there was the one on 8th Street, the original.
Yeah, I haven't been there myself in a while.
You got one, isn't it on Sunset? And 122nd or 127th, something like that?
I don't think that's La Casita. I think that's called like Havana something.
You sure? I thought I saw La Casita, or maybe it's Miller. But there's a La Casita out by you, man.
Yeah, maybe there is. Maybe I don't remember where the hell it's at. You might be right.
Guess where I want to go for dinner now?
Yeah. Lazy Lightsabers asking me, will Mike Gesicki play? I have no idea at this point, and I don't know if to believe Flo, because Flo's a genius. He really fools you on people, so now I don't know, because he fooled me completely with Tua. And so he might fool me again. I love this guy.
Where was the information coming that he was catching passes today?
Safed Dean was the full reporter today.
Okay.
Yeah. So he reported it. But yeah, I'm with you. One guy says, I prefer Las Vegas over Cuban cuisine. Las Vegas, isn't that like a Spanish restaurant? I know what you're talking about, Vegas cuisine or something, Las Vegas or whatever. I think that's a Latin restaurant too. I heard that's pretty decent. Never been to it myself.
Was he catching passes while he was sitting on the stationary bike pedaling?
Yeah. Isla Canarias. Great place. We talked about it in the morning. I just don't know. I've never gotten like food there. I always get like croquetas. That's what I get there because their croquettes are, out of this world. All right, we're going to wrap it up here on the show. We thank all of you out there.
Are you sure? I'm in the process of putting together Coach Flo's interview that just dropped.
Oh, yeah? You got Flo?
Man.
All right, let's do it.
Can you give me 2 minutes, like 2 minutes?
All right, you got it. Let's hear from Coach Flo before we go. We'll hear from Flo, and then we'll get the latest from the Dolphins. I'm sure he'll be asked about Gesicki. I'm sure he'll give us nothing. I'm sure he'll be asked about Kyle Van Noy and Landon Roberts, and I'm sure he'll give us nothing. I'm sure we'll ask about Devontae Parker.
Or whatever he gives
Jakeem
us
Grant.
may be a misdirection.
Right. I mean, he's not – I just, it is what it is now with Flo. What are you going to do?
I'm going to say this. This is the shortest interview I've ever seen.
Yeah,
because under 3 minutes.
Yeah, because it's always only about injuries on Fridays.
So if he says anything,
it'll be short.
It's really meaty for the dose you're going to get.
Yes. You got it already? Okay. All right. So a 3-minute one. So this is a quick one with Flo. Usually there's nothing on a Friday. GP Trap, thank you for the love on Super Chat, sir. Appreciate that. Go ahead. You ready?
Good afternoon, Flo. Obvious question. Can you give us the statuses on
to make it,
Parker Grant?
Say it's one specific thing. I think
is Gesicki going to avoid surgery?
I need more time to think about that. Gesicki, Parker, Grant were all limited, and they'll be questioned for the game. Look, I think as far as surgery, I'm not surgery now, surgery later. I don't have those answers. He's questionable for practice. Kind of leave it right there. Like I'm not a doctor. I don't know if he's avoided or needs or I can tell you about cover 2. I can't tell you anything on an MRI. It's just.
Al?
Hi, Brian. I know we've touched in general about the opener against New England this year and how it might impact this game. But as you looked at the tape of that game, what struck you as the single biggest improvement in your team over the course of the season?
I think to say it's one thing, I think it's hard to do that. I think, we were improved in a lot of areas, offensively, defensively, in the kicking game, from a preparation standpoint, from look, we're a young team, so just as far as, learning how to watch film, study tape for some of our younger players, there's a lot of things to make it, try to say it's one specific thing. I think that'd be tough. I'd need more time to think about that. If I had to say one, I would say we've grown together as a team, and the guys support each other. But they've improved in a lot of ways.
Josh?
Hey, Flo, I know you just walked us through the status of your 3 offensive receivers and Gesicki. With Gesicki specifically, I know he's questionable, but was it encouraging to have him practice this week after, how he exited the game and, being able to see him catch some passes today?
Yeah, very encouraging. Look, it's important to him that he gets out there and, plays with his teammates. So he's doing everything he can, like all our guys who are banged up, to get out there and give himself an opportunity. So we'll see how it goes.
That's it?
Short and sweet, man.
All right. So Gesicki, Parker, and Granny put questionable for the game. And when asked about surgery, I guess they wanted to see if he'd give anything, which he's not. And it was kind of a funny answer. I could tell you about cover 2, but not that.
I love that. That was
yeah, and maybe he does need surgery at the end of the year, but he can still play with it, I guess. But the fact that he's already practicing and questionable, that kind of tells me that there probably isn't any surgery to be had at the moment. You know what I mean? So maybe it's only some kind of treatment or something along those lines, So that could be the case. Could be. By the way, I do want to remind you the TLX 2021, $339 a month. The MDX, $379 a month. You can get 0.9% financing here. The certified pre-owned vehicles, which we see them there, as low as 0.99% financing. The 2020 MDX, you can get $10,000 off here at Craig's Inns. Acura Pembroke Pines, the 2020 ILX, $189. The 2021 TLX, which is a beautiful car. The new model is awesome. $359 a month, folks. Come on down to 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Let me tell you, man, dealership is loaded right now. They will take care of you. Come with your mask. Keep your distance. You can look for a great car this weekend and tell them that Big O sent you, because Larry Schlossberg and company will take care of you. If you own or lease an Acura, no better place to get it serviced. Come see my guy, Jordan Ferber. They will take care of you at Craig's Inns, Acura of Pembroke Pines. GP Trap, thank you, sir, for giving us a little love on the super chat. Very nice. Appreciate you. Troy says, "Oh, have you been able to go to Mike's Pizzeria in Kendall?" Yes, I did. And the pizza was mediocre. Wow. I could not have been more I could not have been more disappointed, to be honest with you. After
let down?
Yeah, I was totally let down.
Because you were all, yeah.
Because Troy's not the first guy that's told me about Mike's. A couple of other people have told me about Mike's.
What kind of pizza? New York, what?
Yeah, it was kind of New York style almost.
Okay.
Almost.
So,
but it's no Cazzolas, bro.
It's not Cazzolas. You know what? Do you know that I went and had Cazzolas the other day?
Still good, huh?
The
Still
slices of pizza are like, I got 2 slices of pizza I forgot. Okay, it was like $10. But dude, I'm walking away with a half of a 20-inch pizza.
Well, that Mike's is right next to a place called Marino's. I'd rather have the Marino's. Marino's actually does a better.
Is that the Marino's that used to be down in the Grove?
No.
Okay, you know.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but no, I don't think so. Steve's. I'd rather have Steve's right by my house. You love Steve's.
Tony's.
Oh, Tony's does a great job.
Tony's Pizza. You know what?
441.
I
love their bread.
Yesterday, obviously,
That
with
crust is awesome.
Me working in the morning, I didn't, trying to get up there to Toyota of Hollywood. You know, that's the first Thursday I didn't go by.
Oh, okay.
Tony's. That's maybe why I was a little off yesterday. I didn't have my allotment of Tony's in me.
Mike No-Go Zone says, Steve, pizza in West Kendall's better. Yes, it is. It is better. I was just sorry, Troy. I was not impressed with Mike. Maybe I got him on a bad day or something, but I ordered a pizza, had it delivered to my house, and I was like, wow. I put it this way. I had a slice, and I got rid of it, and I went and got food in the corner. I couldn't even eat the pizza.
Like that?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Wow.
It wasn't good. I wasn't impressed with it at all. I didn't even call him to complain or anything. I was just not impressed, and I just put it away, and I said, whatever. I told my wife, my daughter, if you guys want it, I'm not happy with it. I'm out of here.
What was their?
Huh?
What did they say? How did they feel about it?
They didn't try it. Once I didn't.
They just went off of what you
my
did.
My daughter's super picky, so there's.
Yeah.
She wasn't even gonna even look at the pizza. She only eats at a couple different places when it comes to pizza, and I love my daughter to death. She has terrible taste in pizza, like terrible taste in pizza, like just kids' taste in pizza. Like
they like. In other words, she likes CC's
bad pizza.
She likes CC's
She just
pizza.
likes mediocre pizza, bro.
CC's pizza.
Yeah, some crap like that.
Yeah, man.
You know. So yeah, she's not very good when it comes to.
When you're at CC's, you know what isn't bad? The salad bar and the soup.
Yeah.
I've had one bite, kind of like what you did. I had one bite of CC's pizza. Took my nephews back in the day.
I tried that too. It was
and
terrible.
I looked at them. They were all excited. I'm like, okay, well, what else is there to eat at this place?
If you guys call it pizza, go ahead.
Ugh.
I'm not calling it pizza.
Yeah, like cardboard with ketchup and some bastardized cheese process thing.
Troy says, I'm surprised, though. Please try Mike's again. Probably just a bad day. I'm just gonna be nervous of trying Mike's.
When did
again.
you order? Like what day? What time? Do you remember?
It was a weekend. Yeah, it was like a month ago, 3 weeks ago. No, maybe even 2 weeks ago. It was like a Saturday.
During the day or in the?
It was a Saturday. It was a Saturday.
In the day.
Yeah.
Okay, because
late afternoon they delivered it. It was like around 5, 6 o'clock.
That's probably right before the dinner rush later, and they might be in between, and you don't have the guy from lunch and the guy from dinner. It's the lackey that's covering the in-between bridge.
I don't know.
So, dude, I've been in the restaurant. You know that. That might have been the case. He might be right.
Okay.
I'm just trying to,
Right. Let's see. Franken Beans says, we have guys back. I don't know what that means.
He might be talking about all the Dolphins, man, like Vanoy.
Yeah, Vanoy's back. Landon Roberts is back.
Roberts, dude.
I think Parker will play. I don't know about Jakeem. So you're going to get quite a few people. If Gesicki was catching passes, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that is really crazy.
2 starting linebackers missing against the Chiefs. I was kind of big on the defensive side of the ball.
Yep, and yes, Frank and Beans, I do think the Dolphins will win. I'm laying the 2 points and everything. I like the Dolphins this week. They're the better team, and if they can get some of their weapons back, and I would imagine that we're going to hear today or tomorrow. By tomorrow, I would imagine that Gaskin will get activated from the COVID list too. I would hope that that's the case. Amici's in the Hammocks area of Kendall also makes good pizza. I like Amici's, but I'll tell you this: their pizza is not as good as it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, before they moved into the new spot. Weird. Can't answer it. Don't know if it's the ovens. Don't know what it is. Don't know if they changed anything, whatever. The pizza is not as good. The pasta, still fantastic. I love Amici's pasta, but I can't tell you why, and I can't explain it, but their pizza's gone a little, it's not bad, but it's not as good as it was a few years back when they were in the original place. See, I've been going to Amici's since it was kind of like a little hole in the wall, and then it expanded, and then it went to the other place with the glass and the waterfall and all that stuff, and they got fancy. But I have not been as impressed with their pizza as I used to be with Amici's.
Do you classify yourself as a picky pizza eater? You were talking about the baby and her being picky. Do you look at yourself as a...
I'm not picky because look at me, I'm fat. I eat everything. So I'm not picky. But
your taste buds are picky? You're going to put it on your taste buds?
No, I don't like crappy pizza. What do you want me to do, bro? It's
dude, I'm with you.
You know what I mean? If I know your pizza's rubbery and it's, the crust doesn't, it's not like it's supposed to be, and the cheese tastes, doesn't taste like cheese, and,
well, that's it.
Sauce
That's it. It's not it's not cheese.
Uses heavy ass sauce that just, I'm just telling you, I'm kind of picky when it comes to pizza, I guess. It's just, I'll eat any pizza, but
you'll give it a try.
Yeah, I'll give it a try. But I'm not the guy that's gonna give you, oh yeah, just any pizza is good pizza. No, dude, sorry. There's an art to making good pizza. There just is, and that's it. I guess that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Man, we need another wide receiver. You think we'll see Preston Williams? I call him Mr. Glass. I doubt you'll see Preston Williams. But then again, we don't really know. That's the problem. We just don't really know what's the status of the kid. And I give him a lot of credit because he busted up his knee last year and then had the surgery and then came back and tried to tough it out as much as possible. And maybe what he needed was more time to rest and recover. So maybe what they do this year with him is they let's put him on the shelf and let's let this kid actually really recover,
It's a golden opportunity for Callaway, man. It's kind of disappointing that kid hasn't stepped and showed us.
He might be a slow learner.
He had that one catch. It was a third down. It was a big catch, and nothing. I don't even, has he sniffed the field? Do you remember seeing him out there?
No.
Right?
Yeah, Sneak Attack 305 says, I used to work at Amici's. You're right. It was better before in the original location.
You might be onto something about the oven, man, because like pizza and the oven, you know what I mean? Maybe they couldn't get the oven.
I'm just being honest, bro.
It's possible.
Just being honest. I'm just saying. When it was a cubby hole, their slices were awesome. And their slices are no longer awesome. Their slices now are all right. It's all right pizza. It's not terrible or anything. It's all right. But before, it was awesome.
Talking about
So
Casolas, man, and sitting there, in the room across, and like sitting there looking around and being like, damn, man, about 20, 25 years ago, you were sitting in 7-Eleven,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, they definitely changed the oven. It's not the same. Well, look, I'm not an expert, and I didn't sleep at a Holiday Inn, but I know it's different. That's all I know. And whether it's the oven or something's up because it's not the same. And it just doesn't taste the same. And it's really more about the bread than anything else, the crust of it. It's just a different pizza. It just is. But what can I tell you? All right, let's wrap it up here, brother. Thank you all out there, as always, for supporting us, watching, super chatting, like Drew Boo and GP Trap. Thank you very much. Thank you all for downloading the show, watching. Remember to keep us going, support the sponsors that support us. So come on out here to Craig's Inn, Acura, Pembroke Pines. Go visit our friends at Caneswear. Mention us. VSS West Pines. Make sure you mention us, okay? Go on out to a lot of our sponsors and check them out. And
Go check out No Go Zone.
Yeah, and Mike No Go Zones. Yes, you got to follow Mike No Go Zones. That's another one there too. What else am I missing?
EJD.
EJD Construction, Moody S Dental. Okay.
Oh, the people you visited this week. Moodius.
Yeah, that's what I said, Moody S Dental.
No, I'm saying you actually visited them this week.
That's right. I got my 2 crowns put in this week. So thank you all out there for supporting us. We love you all. We'll see you Sunday. Onside Radio, post-game show, Dolphins defeating the Pats. Y'all be good.
Putting that nail in the coffin.
Damn right.
Y'all have a good weekend. Stay safe.
It's over, Belichick. You're out.
Bye.